First tonight, the Minnesota Attorney General's office is detailing how joint partnerships helped lead to the nation's largest pandemic fraud bust. We told you earlier this week how federal charges have been brought against nearly 50 defendants in a $250 million nonprofit fraud scheme. KIMT News 3's Jessica Bringy spoke with Attorney General Keith Ellison earlier tonight, and she joins us live from Rochester. So Jessica, how was the attorney's office involved?
Tyler, we're learning Ellison's office was helping the U.S. attorney for about 2 years before these charges were announced. I've been covering this case since it broke on Tuesday, and we've been talking about how 6 employees from Brava Restaurant and Cafe, seen here behind me, were involved in this fraud case. 4 of those defendants are from Rochester. Now, to recap, the nonprofit Feeding Our Future is charged with exploiting a federally funded child nutrition program during the COVID-19 pandemic, stealing a total of $250 million from taxpayers. Bravo was enrolled in that federal program under the sponsorship of the nonprofit. The owners of the business and other co-conspirators claim to have served millions of meals, but instead, the Department of Justice says the 6 defendants working at Brava received approximately $4.3 million in federal funds, which they misappropriated for their own personal benefit. Attorney General Ellison tells me his office mainly works on civil cases, but through joint efforts was able to pass along information to ensure criminal charges were brought against those responsible for the theft.
The fraudsters took advantage of the generosity of the American people. That is wrong. That's reprehensible. That's why they are facing criminal indictments. That's why they're going to be held accountable for what they did. And we're glad to be able to play a role in providing the investigation needed to hold them accountable.
Ellison tells me the Minnesota Department of Education refused payment to Feeding Our Future. This is before all of those charges were announced, and that's because the department knew they were fraudulent. They later got the FBI and other federal authorities involved. Live in Rochester, Jessica Bringy, KIMT News 3.
All right, Jessica, thank you very much. Now, some of the defendants facing charges have been reported to be fleeing the country. Ellison tells us he believes they will be caught and face justice. To see a list of the suspects charged in Rochester, we have that for you on KIMT.com.